Hi. Hello. How are you? I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. My name is Amanda of the Manda Made It podcast. Um, the only other place you're going to find me other than YouTube is on Ravelry as Manda Made It. You are here because this is a knitting, crochet, beginning, hand spinning, various crafty podcast. I just like to talk about my stuff that I'm making, and sorry, I have to fix this. I don't know why it got all jacked up. And yeah, I just like to talk about the stuff that I've done. It has been a minute since I made it on here. You guys know holidays are crazy, right? And then you throw COVID on it. My 5-year-old, who is in preschool, has gone to school 4 days since December 9th. So, having her home the holidays, we went to visit my mother-in-law for a week, and then she's been home. She'll go back to school on the 18th, but basically it's just been a whole lot of not a lot of time. So doesn't mean I haven't been knitting. I just haven't had the capacity or the time or the ability to hop on and talk about what I've been doing. But I'm here now. So let's see. I hope everybody had a good holiday. Whatever you celebrate. I got so into Vlogmas this year. Vlogmas, for those who don't know, is when various YouTubers will do a vlog every single day from December 1st through the 24th or 25th, whatever their preference is. And it's just a lot of content, something to keep up with. You can watch it. It's enjoyable. And I got into it. I enjoyed it. I specifically enjoyed Rainbow Ange of the Yarn and Yarns podcast. She's across the pond, as they say, and she's just very interesting. She's a spinner, knitter, used to own a yarn shop, that kind of stuff. And it was just enjoyable, and it just helped me feel connected to the knitting community as much as I could. So yes, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and start with my finished objects, which is also one of the things that I'm wearing. This is the Clapperton Shawl by Tyga Hilliard. It's a free pattern. It's very simple. I absolutely loved working this. It is done in Bernat Symphony. Now, this is just like I've mentioned before in previous podcasts that I'm attempting to do just a complete stash down this year, where I'm not going to buy any yarn. I'm not going to buy, tools. Like, I'm going to use what I have, because I have plenty and I don't need more. And it frankly stresses me out to have as much as I have. So I've just been slowly working on that. And this is one of those items. I had a skein of this. I think I had originally bought it to attempt a Tunisian crochet pillow cover. And then I didn't really like Tunisian crochet, so maybe I'll try that again sometime soon. But this calls for like a super bulky weight yarn. I think this yarn was technically just a bulky, but the pattern is it's just kind of like a recipe almost. You can make it as big or as little as you want. And this yarn, yeah, it's like 60% acrylic and the rest is some form of wool and something else. But it's very comfy and warm, and because it's mostly acrylic, I'm not really that worried about getting stuff on it. This adorable little shawl pin I actually just got yesterday. My best friend sent it to me. It's from a maker out in Spain, DMR Artisania. This is the little box that it came in, and sorry, I'm trying not to let it get to, but it was adorable, and it came very nicely packaged, and it's just like this cute little sheep and a couple of knitting needle pins, and it's just, I just think it's so freaking cute. But yeah, so anyway, this, it's a nice shawl. It's not too big. Like, I honestly wish I had had another skein of this yarn, and I would have made, like, I would have used both skeins, because I just love this, and I want it bigger. So, one of the things I will make this year is a large shawl, because apparently that's what I would like. Let's see, what else did I finish? I also finished quite a few things that were like gifts or stuff, so I just don't have them to show, and I don't think you care really for me to talk about something you can't see. But I do have a few. I actually just, because I had worked on a pair of socks for my husband for Christmas, and that was pretty much my only sock knitting because I made them really long, and I just wanted to make sure that I could focus on them, and I could only work on them while he was at work. Which my daughter was like so intrigued by that, and she did great. She didn't tell him. But anyway, once I cast those off, I made myself a pair of socks. And I have been wearing these, so, and they're not blocked, they're not washed since I've been wearing them, so this is what they look like. But I think these are so stinking fun. They're a toe-up sock. I did a figure-8 cast on, and then just the knit front and back increases for the toe. I think it was, I knit the foot until it was 8 inches, then I did a fish slip kiss heel. I think I did a 60 round leg, and then a 20 round 1x1 rib for the cuff. I think this was I think I did one sock at 60 inches and one sock at 62 inches, kind of by accident, just to see what would happen. And yeah, I love these. I love this sock. It's this yarn rather. It's the Opal Adventure colorway 9823 Zeiton Cocktail. Anyway, it's just fun. It's just super fun. It's actually looking a lot brighter on camera than it is in real life, and that's just because I don't know, natural light with a dark room, whatever. Anyway, super fun. They're really comfortable to wear, and I'm just excited to be building up my handmade sock drawer, if you will. Another thing I just finished like 2 days ago is a little sea glass hat that I made for my 1-year-old. This is all yarn that I had dyed with Kool-Aid or Wilton's food coloring gel dyes. It was from Knit Picks. The yarn is, I think it's a merino, DK merino style something. You know, and I just, the colors are so fun, and it's a 1x1 color work, which I have been really digging into color work. Once I unlocked the magic of knitting with 2 hands, it was great, wonderful. But anyway, yeah, you know, it's so bright, and it really, I will say this hat is a little bit small for her. I haven't even woven in the ends or anything, because it's really just a little too small. She's probably not going to wear it much. And she's 1, doesn't care. She yanks things off her head anyway. So, but it was wonderful to make it, because now I know that I would enjoy making a larger one for anyone. And it feels like it barely used any yarn. Because, I mean, I swear, I think it used less than, it probably used less than 28 grams total for this, which is great for scraps. And you know, so this is a free pattern from Wool and Pine. When you sign up for their newsletter, they send you this. Now, Wool and Pine are the people who made the sea glass tee. I think it was last summer, and they've just released the sea glass sweater, like last week, which is, again, the same thing. It's a 1x1 color work item, and you can use it with mini skeins and scraps, and you can organize color or not, whatever. Oh God, the light in here is so weird. Whatever. Anyway, that was really fun. I enjoyed that. So something else that I did finish, Another colorwork hat. So I think I had shown several episodes ago the kit I had picked up from Driftwood Yarns in Groton, Connecticut, which is kind of like my most local yarn shop. They had a kit with GG Bonin hand-dyed yarns, and it was the Little Frankie hat pattern from Casapinka. This is, I think, a free hat pattern. But the yarns were GG Bonin hand dyed in the Squash It, which is the golden yellowy, and then the tealy green is called Forest Primeval Variegated. So this is like the third version of this hat because you have enough yarn in the kit to make two hats, one with the Squash It yellow as the main color and the green Forest Primeval as the contrast color. I made that one first, and that was like most likely like my first real foray into like what I consider real color work. And I completely fucked it up. The color work part was too tight. The ribbing was too loose. My husband couldn't wear it. I couldn't wear it. My 5-year-old daughter couldn't wear it. It was just a mess. So I frogged that. But before I frogged it, I had started this to make for my husband because he asked me to make it in these colors for him. And I was going to give it to him for Christmas. I finished it, but it just something didn't feel quite right about it. And it still didn't fit him correctly. However, it does fit my 5-year-old, so she has commandeered it. I have enough yarn that I can make another one for my husband at some point. But I have got to figure out how to do this pattern with what needles because I just can't get it right. I don't know why. I know swatching. I know this is a swatch. I'm going to work with this. So those are that. Now, the really big finished object. Yes, I did finish it. The cardigan that I was making from Ann Bud's book. The Knitter's Handy Book Guide book of top-down sweaters. It is made from Knit Crate Audine wools, I think. Let's check. I have a label somewhere in here. It was Vitalana Celestial by Knit Crate, and this is the colorway Callisto. And I'm very, very pleased with how this fits. It fits really well. The alpaca does grow, so it does grow with wearing. You can tell that I rode out quite a bit in some spots because this was knit flat. I will say something about the bottom of this where I joined the button bands was kind of funky. I don't know what I did. I don't really care. But you know, all in all, for a first cardigan, I'm really, really stinking pleased with this. The buttons I had in one of those like Michael's button grab bag things. I think it was like $15 for like 2 pounds of buttons or something. And I just kind of dug through there and looked for ones that were somewhat similar. So they're all sort of brownish, kind of with like a little bit of lighter coloring in it. Anyway, it's very comfortable. It is, it's 90% alpaca, 10% tencel. And although I'm not a new knitter or crocheter, I am still new to natural fibers. And so it's kind of been interesting figuring out, like, I can work with anything with my hands, but in terms of wearing that cardigan, I haven't been able to wear it with short sleeves yet underneath it. Granted, I live in Rhode Island. It's cold. Like right now, I think it's like 20 degrees out or something like that. Whatever. Fahrenheit. If you're not in the US, I don't know what that is in Celsius. But in 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which is cold. That's probably like spring for you guys or something. But anyway, it's a very, I'm so pleased with how it came out for using a recipe style pattern and figuring out how to make it for me. You know, I really see the value in that, and I think it can feel scary to have to make the decisions yourself, like that. But oh man, it's so helpful. It's so helpful. So anyway, that's I think that's about it for the finished projects that I'm going to show you, for knitting anyway. I do have some works in progress, some WIPs. Now I will start with a crochet WIP because I don't know if I like it. And I really only did it because I started it because, now if you're a knitter, and you have been for any length of time, I assume that you are going to know what I'm talking about, but I'll explain a little bit. There are times when you can develop something called a fissure in the skin of your finger if you happen to use that finger to manipulate the top of your needle. So if you are, for example, oops. This is another WIP I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. So when I'm knitting, I will put in and I'll do that, but then I will use this finger to push this needle down to bring the next round of the next stitches up. You shouldn't have to do that, but if you learn to do it that way, it's a very hard habit to break. Now, I will get a fissure in my finger when I'm knitting a lot, but also if I decide to start knitting on something that directly after doing dishes or giving my kids a bath or anything where my skin is softened. And so, like, you can see that's a little where the callus and stuff is starting to form again. I got a fissure there last week or something, and it was really, really painful to knit. I use mostly Chow metal needles, but they're fairly sharp, and they could get it into, it's not a cut, but they can get under that skin and just, oh, it fucking hurts. So I started this crochet pattern, which is the Ballet Wrap Cardigan by Yarnspirations. And I'm just doing it in some Craft Smart Value tweed I have in my stash. Again, just trying to use this up. It's going to be for my 5-year-old. We have established she does not like, or so far she hasn't liked wool yarn. I mean, I would have to find some sort of like luxury blend, I think, for her to enjoy. But I've started it. I don't know if I really like it. But she likes it, and so, you know, I'm probably going to have to keep making it. I don't know. It's not that I don't like crochet. I do like crochet, but if I'm not enjoying, like, I don't know if I don't like how the yarn is working in the project. I think, I don't know. I don't know if that one's going to stay on the hook or not. We'll see. We'll see. I'm putting that in almost like the pile of ambiguity, as Roxanne Richardson calls it, for her Fix It February thing that she runs every year, which is a way to deal with your WIPs and works in progress and languishing things. It's just a method and a community thing to take stock of what you've got and figure out what you're going to do with it. Because there are some people in this world who have an insane amount of projects that they start and just don't work on. And that's not how I am typically. So, although with the amount of WIPs I have going right now, I can see how it can happen. So anyway, there's a pile of ambiguity in her thing that you just kind of like don't know what you want to do with it. So you just leave it and you kind of ignore it, or you deal with it at another time. So that's what that's doing right now. The next works in progress, I have 2 that are kind of in conjunction with each other, because there is a beginning knitting group on Ravelry, and their whole thing is it's a CAL group, a knit along group, and every knit along that they do never closes. So you can go in and join any knit along, make things, post about it, whatever. But every year they do a yearly knit along. Last year I think it was dishcloths. You got a dishcloth a month kind of thing. This year it's a colorwork tube scarf or cowl, however you want to finish it off. Which they also did one in 2018. So you get the pattern, or that month's pattern, on the 10th of the month every month. And I was getting antsy because I knew I wanted to do it. So I decided to start doing the 2018 version to start, so I could have two. And because using up stash. So I have this one, which is, I've done January, February, and March. And the silver is Twinkle DK, again from Knit Crate. It's a silver with some Selena in it. I don't know what the other fiber is. And then the pink variegated, so this is all one skein and this is a different skein, but these are both hand dyed by me and my daughter with Kool-Aid on DK from Knit Picks, Merino, I think. But yeah, like I've just been enjoying, like this is how I learn techniques, is by doing sampler type stuff. And this is just fun. And you know, so I guess the idea at the end is that you can sew the ends together and you just have a tube, and you either have a tube scarf or you sew the ends together and you have a cowl. So I decided to make this one with the idea that it would be for my daughter, my 5-year-old. I don't know if she'll use it, but I think it'll be cute. And it's just, I am such a process knitter. Like, I just enjoy the process of knitting. I don't necessarily care about myself having the finished object a lot of the time. You know, there are things that, yes, I want to make for me, but there's also a lot of things I want to just make and see how it goes. And this is one of them. So unfortunately, the colorwork heart motif kind of gets lost with the variegation of this kind of fairly speckled like yarn. This is the Twinkle DK, and then this is that speckled kind of one that I made. I think it was like the black cherry Kool-Aid that I just sprinkled all over it to see how it worked. And then this was like the black cherry and grape Kool-Aid poured on either end of the dye pan. Super fun though, and I actually think it looks like the colors work really well, and I'm enjoying it. And so that's the 2018 one. Again, it's a free pattern. You can join in at any time. I think there's one other person that's joined in on the 2022 scarf knit along that is also doing the 2018 one. So this is the 2022 one, and all we have so far is the month of January pattern, which I have completed. This is actually using the leftovers from my cardigan, the Knit Crate Vitellana Celestial in Callisto, and then I also had 2 skeins of the Celestial in what color is this? Phobos, and another one in Deimos, and another one in Ganymede. You know, so I'm gonna just go with the blue and the purple for now. If I happen to need or run out of the purple, then I can just use the pink and the gray. Again, it'll be a tube scarf, cowl. I don't particularly care who wears it, whether it's me or if I give it to somebody. I might give it to somebody. I don't know. But it is just it's really fun. I am enjoying the shit out of color work. I think it's so much fun, and I have the mental space for it now that my youngest is a little older. And now that I've figured out how to have mental space for these types of things, which is really important if you're in a tough spot in life for whatever reason, and you don't have brain space a lot of time for things. Like, you have to actively put work into figuring out when and how to do the things that bring you joy. You can't just do them. So that's what I had to do. And my last work in project... Oh, no, I have 2 more. 3 more. Whoops. You saw these briefly before. I just started them yesterday. I do knit my socks in tandem. So, you know, 1 on each needle, working from 2. I reskein up my yarn into 2 50-gram balls or cakes. This is again, a knit crate yarn. I mean, if you want to build up stash, join a yarn club, because you just end up having shit that you don't know what to do with, and then you don't use it. So this is Audine Wool's Cloud Sock in the Honeymoon colorway. I had actually ordered this during one of their from their shop because I loved the color so much. And it is beautiful. This one is a 60% superwash merino, 30% mohair, and 10% nylon. 400 yards to 100 grams. My daughter asked me to make her socks out of this. Now, should I be making a 5-year-old socks out of, like, non-superwash, or, I mean, it's superwash, but, like, should I be making her socks out of this yarn? Probably not. I don't care. This pattern, though, is a new one. It is the No Heel Spiral Sock. So, you know, way back in the day, like, I think the origins of this pattern were from like 1938, and, you know, you cast on the toe. The pattern itself gives you like a flat toe and a star toe version that you can do. Since it's for my 5-year-old, I cast on 54 stitches. You do need a multiple of 6, but essentially you do a 3x3 rib that will be offset every 6 rows, and it makes the sock spiral. But you don't need a heel, because it will expand to fit your foot. And the idea is it might actually grow with the foot because it doesn't have a specific spot for the heel. So, you know, I mean, I've made 2 pairs of socks for my daughter, and she outgrew them within like 2 weeks because that's just what happens. And I didn't want to do that again. So I thought this was a really fun way to test out this pattern. You know, I mean, it's got like 600 some odd projects in Ravelry. I think I heard about it on the Noble Character Crafts podcast with Amy. And I'll be honest, I don't know if she used this exact pattern, but she was the first one who mentioned that I had heard talk about spiral socks. And that's why I started looking for it, because she's also got like young kids, or she's got 5 kids. And that lady, she knits stuff for her kids. I mean, my goodness, 5 kids, and she's just prolific in her knitting and crocheting. And she homeschools them, like, oof. I can't even get my kid to do like a craft project without a meltdown, let alone trying to teach her like math. Anyway, I digress. So it's just like, I'm just having fun doing a new thing on a sock that is still relatively like super mindless. You know, I'm not much into the idea of a patterned sock in terms of like lace or cables or anything like that, because socks for me are the thing that I can pick up and just do anywhere, anytime. Pick up, put down, doesn't matter. I can just go and know what I'm doing. It takes me a day to do the toes. It takes me a day to do the heels. And those are the only ones where I have to actually kind of pay a little bit of attention. So the rest of it, I can just like, so that's what I love about it. And I'm interested to see how these work. If she likes them, this will make gift knitting socks like way easier. because I have been requested more socks from people, and people are kind of weird about measuring their feet. They don't want to. My next work in project. Yes, Nicole, I'm talking to you. My next work in project, I'm really excited for it. This is The Classic by Espace Tricot. And it is definitely like a sweatshirty sweater with a turtleneck. It's a free pattern. It's a raglan. I think I'm going to put in a ribbing band at the bottom, but I don't think it even has that. And I am so stinking in love with this. I have wanted a marled yarn sweater since I think I saw Andrea Mowry's Weekender. And I just like, I'm so pleased with this. This is from Knit Picks. This is their palette twist. It's fingering weight, and the colorway name, it's like squirrel something. Pumice. Sorry, it's called pumice. It comes in 50-gram balls, 231 yards per. I mean, it's cheap. It's cheap. I think I got a 10-pack. I don't even know how much I paid, but I think it was $30, maybe. I don't know. And if you get it on sale, it's even cheaper. So anyway, and I'm holding it double because it is fingering weight and the pattern calls for DK. I am knitting the 54-inch bust size because I want like the opposite of the cardigan. The cardigan, I wanted it to be fitted and slightly cropped and everything. This, I want to be comfy, cozy, squishy. Like, I want to be able to just put it on over everything and feel like I'm in a hug. And I'm so pleased with how this is coming out. This actually prompted me to order the Knitting Barber tubes. These little cords that you like. I've heard all, hacks and stuff where you use like, I don't know, fish tank wire or tubing or something. But basically, you take this tube and you stick it on the end of that, and then you take the other end of the tube and you stick it on the other one, and your stitches, and it won't just like pop right off, but your stitches will feed onto this tube, and you can just try this on. You don't have to waste yarn. You don't need to put in an extra needle. You don't need to do any of that stuff. So anyway, I ordered these from Handsome Fibers on Etsy. Well, I think they have a regular site too. But anyway, like, I kind of did a mad dash, like, order a couple of tools before January 1st, so I could have them before my no yarn and tool purchasing stuff started. I'm actually still waiting on a supported spindle bowl that I ordered also on Etsy before the 1st. But anyway, these things are fun. It's such a small thing, right? Like, you don't think that like having to put your sweater on waste yarn or another needle or with needle stoppers or whatever is a big deal, and it's not typically. But when your time is not your own, anything that makes doing something faster is just, that's what you want to do. Like, I don't care what anybody says. This is just easy. It's like the steam in bag frozen vegetables of the knitting world, if you will. Anyway, the classic, I love it. It's great. I heard about it first on the Grocery Girls podcast. I mean, it's got, I don't even know how many thousands of projects in it, and there's all kind of modifications that you can make. Just fun. So my last whip is one, it's kind of on par with the cardigan, the ballet wrap cardigan that I'm crocheting. It's a shawl. This one is another Tyga Hilliard pattern, because I really like her simplistic shawls, and they're written for really thick, bulky yarns. Let me see if I can find this, this pattern. Oh, do I not have it in my WIPs? Or did I hibernate it or frog? I might have put it in, I might have already put that I frogged it. Because I really, really am thinking of frogging it. I don't see it. Maybe I just never started a project for it. I must not have. Huh. Anywho, it is a Taiga Hilliard pattern along the lines of the Clapperton, but it has an eyelet, feature to it. I'm trying to find the pattern so I can. The Gel Max. Yes, so this is what it's supposed to look like, the Gel Max. I don't think that's gonna show very well. Anyway, and this was a case of having stash yarn that I bought a few years ago that I really don't like now. I mean, it's hard to explain, but I bought it because I hadn't made a sweater yet. It's the Bernat Plentiful in the blood orange colorway, I think. It's a bulky yarn. It's 60% acrylic, 26% wool, 14% polyester. You get 952 yards for 300 grams. So you're supposed to be able to knit a sweater out of it. And there's a sweater pattern in the on the back, I think. Yeah. But I just wasn't feeling it. It's basically, it's like a mohair. I think it's supposed to mimic a mohair silk blend, I believe. But it's not. I don't know. See, on camera it looks so pretty, but it looks kind of like dullish in person. But it's got all these different colors, so it would be color changing. See, looking at it on camera, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to finish this. So I don't know. Again, this is something that I have to think about. And I'll make a decision sometime in February, I think, on it. I had started it at my mother-in-law's while we were there, just to have something else to work on there. And I don't know, I'm just not in love with it. But that's it for FOs and WIPs. I do have a few spinning things to show and share, and oh, I did. So I made a shawl with kind of pretty much all my first beginning hand spun. Everything. Like, I mean, literally, like, I think these are the only things. I have these left from my very first hand spun attempts, which were on a drop spindle, and I still have these, and I have a couple swatches I had made, but otherwise I had skeins of, you know, all kinds of hand spun from my spindles and my EW Nano, and I didn't know what to do with them. None of them were enough for one project, and I didn't want to find a separate project for each bit that I had. So I found just a shawl that it's like a recipe type shawl. It's a hand spun boomerang shawl is the name of the pattern. And it's by Natasha Sills. It's free. But it was designed with the idea and the intention of using hand spun, which can be thick and thin and not consistent, and can be hard to use in a project that you want consistency, and especially as a beginning knitter, like, you don't know. I'm sorry, the lighting in here is just gonna be freaking awful. But so this, I don't know if that's gonna show it all. Kind of. This is You can barely see it. Sorry. Anyway, I gave it to my mother-in-law because I finished it while I was down at her house, and she liked it. And I didn't know if I was going to wear it. So she has it. It's got, you know, bare yarns. It's got some yarn that was in a felting kit that I didn't know wasn't necessarily for spinning that I spun. It had some of my breed samples that I did, because as much as I like the idea of sampling, like what the fuck am I going to do? It's just a bunch of samples. So I put them in something. And it ended up coming out. I was very, very pleased with how it came out. You know, there's, I don't know if I can show. Ugh, I don't know. Anyway, it was just, it came out really well, and I'm very pleased with it. Use your hand spun. That's like the thing, is like, I want to make sure that I use the stuff that I make. Because then that's how you get better. Like Andrea Mowry was talking about this in her I'll Knit and Spin If I Want to podcast on Friday, which I'm so happy she's talking about spinning. And it's like, if you don't use what you make, you get, like, there's so much information in using what you make. It tells you so much about how you spin and the yarn that you're making and what you want to make versus what you are making. So valuable. So if you're in spinning and getting into it, like, use it. Whatever it is that you make a swatch, make a dishcloth, make a hat, make a scarf, make a shawl, make whatever you want. Like, I decided to start a sweater spin. Last night I decided to start a sweater spin. So I started it, because why the hell not? So one thing I got before Christmas that I didn't actually mention on my last podcast was I got a spinning wheel. I got a new to me Louet S10. I visited a hand spinner at, I was basically looking to try out a Spinolution wheel, and I did not like the one that I tried. I couldn't figure it out. Something about the treadling was really weird. Never having even used a wheel before, I was completely put off by the Spinolution wheel that I was trying. I couldn't even tell you which one it was. But then she let me try her Ashford Traditional, which was beautiful. As a double treadle, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And then she had this S10 sitting on the side, and she's like, you know, I don't really use this. I'll sell it to you. Okay. I tried it. I liked it. I did spin on it for probably about a half hour, 45 minutes, just to, you know, make sure that I could figure it out, that I liked it. And I did. And I came home with it. And then I promptly spun up this bat that I had gotten from, this is getting really blown out. It's not at all this bright in real life. I had gotten, that helps? No. Whatever. I had gotten a bat. It was like a one-of-a-kind Franken bat from Fiber Love Diaries, Trish, who she's really fun to watch. I enjoy watching her. And I found her through Roxanne Richardson's podcast, Not Taking Back Friday, Friday something or other. I don't know. Roxanne Richardson. She's been on YouTube forever. Like, she was on Ravelry when it began. Roxanne Richardson is like OG. She is like awesome. But anyway, Trish makes all kinds of cool bats and stuff, and she sent this, and I just loved working with it, spinning it. I did it all on the S10, and it was really just so much fun to try a different preparation. I had never spun from a bat before. I love this, and I'm not sure what I'll do with it. It's fairly thick, but it actually, this is my Shetland that I had spun, attempted to do a worsted spin with. I don't know if that would play well together. Doesn't look like it, but the lighting's off. Like, in real life, the brown is darker and this is darker. Like, they both look really light and blown out here. which they are not. Anyway, we'll see what I do with that. I also, for Christmas, Santa brought me, and by Santa, I mean my very, very loving husband, brought me a blending board, which happens to be a Louet also, which he didn't, like, plan that, but, I had asked for a blending board to play with, and I've been doing that. So I did some blending of various things. I have a grab bag of mill-ends that I just put on there just to practice. And, you know, I can't say that I went in with any real plan at all other than to put a bunch of colors on and see what happened. And then I chain plied for the first time. So these are both chain plies, which was fun to learn. So this one looks more, it definitely has some more pinkies in it, and this one has more blues. So these might make something fun, like a pair of mitts or something. I don't know. That could be really fun together, actually. So we'll see. I did, because I'm on the School of Sweet Georgia, I did do their blending board color play class, and this is a rolag I made from that mill-ends bag. I have not yet spun it, obviously, but I did a rainbow, and I'm going to see how this spins up, and that'll be exciting. The bag of mill-ends I actually got from Trish at Fiber Love Diary as well, at the same time as I got the bat that I spun, that purple one. What else for spinning? I also got, this is exciting. Now I'm part of I signed up for the Shave 'em to Save 'em program through the Livestock Conservancy. And basically you pay $15, you get a passport, and you help with conservation efforts of rare sheep breeds, and you order from farms that you can order the fiber, the fleece, the yarn from vendors who are registered with the Shave 'em to Save 'em program, and they send you yarn, and you get a sticker. And when you can fill up your passport, and whenever you complete a project, whatever that project may be, whether it's spinning or knitting, you, after a certain amount, you can put in for like a prize tier or something like that. So my mother, wonderfully so, gifted me 12 ounces of Florida cracker fiber, all natural. It came from the Williams farm down in Florida. I don't remember the name of the town that it's in, but it's pin drafted, I think, roving. There is some veggie matter, but it's been so fun to spin. I just started yesterday. It's spinning fine. Like, I think I'll be able to get a sweater's quantity out of it. So I'm excited about that. I'm really enjoying that spin so far. Excuse me. Yeah. So I think that's it for, like, stuff I've been making. Oh, I also was gifted another book by my father-in-law and his wife, Lynn. And I heard of this book through the Jillian Eve podcast, and it's The Woman's Work, The First 20,000 Years by Elizabeth Wayland Barber. And I just, like, I haven't been able, my reading time is very limited, not only because I have kids, but also because when I have time, I like to knit. So I have to make a very conscious effort to sit and just read. Audiobooks don't work for me. I'm hearing impaired. So audiobooks just aren't a thing that I can do. And as strange as it sounds, if I haven't yet to find it, but if there was a captioning service for audiobooks, that would be ideal, because, okay, well, why don't you just read the book while they're talking? Because I have to look up and find the spot on the page where they're talking in order to read. So I use closed captioning on the TV. I can look up and glance up and read a little bit, and you know, while they're talking, and it's just, that works for me. You know, I'm hearing impaired, but I'm not deaf, so there's a weird gray area of what's helpful to me. I do wear hearing aids. My hearing is getting worse as I get older. However, like, for right now, just reading is something that I have to make a conscious effort to do. I would love if somebody knows about an audio book service that has captioning. That would be great. But anyway, I'm super excited to read this. I've been really digging into the fabric of civilization, which has been mind-blowing in so many ways that, well, as mind-blowing as you would expect textiles to be in textile history. It's been a very enjoyable read. You know, I bore people all day. Like, I bore my mother and my husband with the stuff that I'm reading in there. Just like, did you know it takes like 60 miles of yarn to make a sail? Anyway, and how long it makes. I'm not going to bore you with that. If you want to talk about it, though, let me know, because I will totally sit here and geek out about that. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. Life stuff. My daughter's been home pretty much since December 9th, except for 4 days. We went on vacation. I live in Rhode Island. We're in a cold snap right now. It's January. What do we expect? Otherwise, life is kind of mundane. My 1-year-old has, like, I don't know, 7 teeth coming in again. She's walking more. We're gonna, I don't know, just kind of like think about doing some more stuff to our basement over the next year. Yeah. Life isn't that exciting in January. You know, it's just not. But if you are new here, or if you have come back, thank you for watching. I appreciate you joining me and listening to me babble on about the things that I'm making. You know, I hope that this gets to be more consistent again, but stay-at-home mom life, you just don't know what things are going to throw at you, with the COVID and the weather and the things, you know, who knows what's going to happen. But I've been having fun, and I hope you have been too. And yeah, I will catch up with you next time. Until I do see you again, I hope you enjoy your time with crafting. Bye.